Okay, so this is part 2 of Illuminate. This is what we hoped to cover in the first video. All we got to do was the assessment. We're now going to talk about how to create items or questions within the item bank. I would again like to refer to the document that Michael Watkins, teacher at WAMS, created. This kind of compiles all of the different Illuminate assessment materials that are available in Illuminate, but he did it in a way that really laid out the flow nicely. So I would suggest that you either use a QR code reader or go to this bit.ly. I'll hold it still for a second there, sorry. And again, all of these link to the PDFs from Illuminate, the help documents that step by step, if you need a little bit more help or resources to help you make these item bank questions or assessments. Okay. So first step, just get into Illuminate. When you log in, this is your dashboard. We're going to immediately jump over to the item bank, which is where we will do the work of actually creating the items. So I'm going to find item bank and then visit item bank. And here we are. The last video we created an assessment. Today we're just going to work on a new item. So for example, if you're making a math test and there's just one specific type of question that addresses your standard, but it wasn't found in the item bank, or you didn't quite like the numbers or the names or what have you, you can use this item bank item creator in order to make your own. So there are several types of items. The multiple choice is your standard ABCD with one correct answer. Non-traditional is just that. It could be a true false, a yes/no question. It could be a select all that apply, so there could be more than one correct answer. Selectable text is a sentence or a portion of a passage, and the student would actually select on the part of the passage that they think is the correct answer. A drop-down gives them a drop-down menu. Constructed response is like a short answer or a short essay. Explicit constructed response is almost like a fill in the blank where you have a definite answer that you would like, or a vocabulary word or a number that you would hope to see as the answer, and it has to match perfectly. They can also draw with their response. That's best on an iPad situation, or a math equation response. So I'm just going to show you a couple different types. You can add teacher instructions if you would like. Okay, so this would be the question stem. So I could, if this is math, I could say, choose the equation that is equal to 7. Now, I'm totally making this up. I don't know exactly what standard that would relate to, so I apologize. I should have done this a little bit more in real time. So, okay, so choose the equation that is equal to 7. So this is just one correct answer. I'm going to enter in some different equations. So 34 minus 9. You could get as complicated or advanced as you would like. I'm going to play it safe here. 4 plus 3, 5 plus 3, 9 minus 1. Okay, so of those, I only have one correct answer, and it is B. So I'm going to click right there, and you'll see that green check mark shows that it is correct. I'm going to save. If this were a question that involved a rubric or different possible ways of solving this, I could add my rubric here. For right here, this is just one correct answer, so I'm going to play it safe with that. With the details, you don't have to do any of these, except you can actually leave this and just go on to the next one, the standards. You don't have to go through any of the details. On the standards, you want to choose Common Core and then your subject. And again, for this, I'm not going to do that last step of publishing. I'm just going to say it's grade 2. And here's where I would link those standards. I'm just going to say it's that one. And you can see the little link. And then go on to the next one. This does not have a passage, so I don't need to search for one. If you wanted to make, for example, an ELA item that went along with a passage that you already knew existed in Illuminate, this is where you would add that. You can preview the question, so this is what the student will see. they'll have a little drop down, and then they will see these. They will not see these answer choices below. It'll just be this question with this drop down menu, and then they would choose the correct answer. And then publish. This is how you finalize the item and make it so that you can add it to assessment. I will, for the sake of this, click on publish. Hopefully none of you would like to use it right away. But this button is what I wanted to show you. Once you have published and finalized an item, you can immediately add it to an assessment. You can also right then and there create an assessment. So you could make an item, add it to that assessment, or create it for this first one. And then the next item, you could just keep adding it, and they would show you your assessments here. So that's a really easy, fast way of if you wanted to make your own. Say that this is just numbers 9 and 10, and the other 8 you've already taken from the item bank, then you could just add it to those previously made assessments. Okay. I'm going to go back to the items and create a new item just to show you some of the different. And the best suggestion is just to play with these. Drawing response is just that. It gives them some blank space, and it would especially be helpful for a math equation or a drawing where they're labeling or showing different fractions and they have to draw that response. Explicit constructed response is a little interesting. It has to be exactly what it says. So the product of 3 and 5 is, and this would be right there. And the answer choice is only, and it can only be 15. And just to preview what that would look like, the product of 3 and 5 is blank, and they would physically type in the number 15. So that would be the explicit. Now, if this were more a word, it would have to match with spelling, and I'm not sure about uppercase, lowercase, if it matters with the case, but definitely on spelling. So you also, as a teacher, after the students have done this, have the option to revisit those questions and look and say, okay, they just misspelled it, but they still have the right content, and you can make that correct. But just kind of keep that in mind. All right, and again, my best suggestion is just to play with these different items. You can refer back to the documents from the item bank, from the Illuminate help that Michael added to this bit.ly for creating an item bank. And yeah, just have fun playing with it. And again, you can add any of those items to any of the assessments that you've already started making, or create a new assessment from the Illuminate item bank.